as I continue my transition from an event photographer into portraits and headshots, there's this beautiful thing happening, an awakening of sorts, and I'm starting to really see how not only is this a more sustainable transition in terms of finances, and the potential in the ceiling is a lot bigger, a lot greater, a lot higher. Um, I think there's something that I'm enjoying more than shooting events. And what's nice about events is it's just meaningful to people. There's planning that happens. There's general celebration, genuine, I should say, celebration that's happening. There are so many moments that are unfolding in all different corners of the room all at once, and the energy and the vibe. And people haven't seen each other in so long, and it's a great opportunity to hone your documentary or documentary skills, right? Where moments are unfolding in front of you and your job is just to capture them, and I quite enjoy that as well. But as I'm leaning more toward portraits, what I find I'm enjoying more is just that one-on-one connection with someone, and that just like that conversation that I'm having with my clients. And it's an approach for me. It's an intentional approach. Before any of my clients step in front of my camera, I send them an intake form, and in that intake form, they fill out everything about themselves technically for the shoot, right? What are these portraits or headshots for? Where are you going to be displaying them? How do you want them, the technical size in one form? It's like that, not all. But then also tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your favorite movie? What's your hobbies? What do you like to listen to? Coffee or tea? And these things, when I read over the intake form, it really helps me put together a picture, an overall idea of who this person is. And then based on that, I then create the shot list, right? If I know someone's a little more playful, then I'll have some poses that I may want to approach when they're here. If I know someone's a little more serious, if it's a bit more of a professional headshot shoot, then I already know. But even in that, there's nuances, right? Because and this is my problem with a lot of headshots that I've seen. Everyone's upset. It's not how we are when we're at work. Maybe not. Right? But you have to be approachable at work. And I'm not saying, you're having a hearty laugh, but it's okay to smile. It's okay to have a big smile. Like that feeling after a year and a half of project management, and the project finally comes to a close and it's been successful, and you know that bonus money's around the corner. That's a big smile. I want to see that. And that smile to me says approachability, it says confidence. So getting to know my clients even before they step in front of the lens, and curating an approach for them. And then when they're actually here, I book 45-minute sessions. But it's more like 30 minutes that we're actually shooting. But that first 15 minutes is all about that, the first 5 minutes. Don't worry. How was your trip? How was traffic? Settle down. You want some water? You want some coffee? Let me get the music going for you, because that's an intake question I've asked. So I make sure their music is playing. And like, oh man, that's my jam. I know it was. And then that 10 minutes is about us connecting. So I see that you're into Game of Thrones. And what are we going for here? Is this a Jeremy Lannister type of, you know what I mean? Like, and they genuinely appreciate that. And that is the olive branch. That is what they grab onto. They latch onto that, and then they trust me to curate the energy for the shoot. And then going forward, it's just magic. And I was so intimidated by this process. I was so afraid of this process, because I've always said that studio portraits is intimidating to me because there's nothing to hide behind. Like, I've done a ton of portrait work. Uh, So much so that I was able to, when I first started to transition, I was able to build a decent portfolio, but it really didn't represent the direction, right? Because most of it was outdoor portraits. But the point remains, I had something, and you could see that I knew how to capture a good portrait. I knew how to connect to a subject. And a lot of those portraits were New York City was the backdrop. You name it, I had it. And no matter how I felt about my connection with my subject, it was always okay because the backdrop and where this person was it was larger than life. And in some ways it was a crutch for a lot of my portrait work. When it comes to studio work, nah fam, it's just you, a few lights, a backdrop, and it the only thing that matters here is your vision on where you want to go, how you want this portrait to how you want to make this portrait, and your ability to connect to your subject to make sure it happens. And I'm still very much intimidated by it, but I'm working through it. And I'd like to say I'm a fit I'm a few portrait studio portrait sessions in, and I think the imposter syndrome is beginning to lose the war. And there's still a ton for me to learn, right? Like, I've been watching a bunch of makeup artists do their thing, and I'm listening to their language and how they see the world. I've been watching a ton of high fashion portrait artists do their thing, and how they see light and how they interpret the vision from creative directors into the shoot. I've been watching a lot of high profile models do their things, and I've had the privilege to shoot with two high profile models, two of which they've been working with designers for a while. They have been in multiple fashion weeks, and there's a thing about them that at first at first I would say, man, they make the job easy. They just know what to do. But now that I've gained the experience and I've connected with them, that seems like a disservice. That seems disrespectful to say that these people are so invested in their craft and their creativity. It's just mine is on the camera and theirs is themselves, and how they pose and they model. And really, I'm just grasping for the aspects, the numerous aspects about portraiture. I'm grasping to understand them on a deeper level. And what's interesting about that is none of it really has anything to do with my camera or lenses, so that's always super important to realize. Um, yes, the lighting, but like, I don't know, kicker lights, one key light, two key lights, butterfly lighting, Rembrandt, like whatever, right? Like, I'm investing in the humanity part of it first. I'm learning how to connect with my subjects. I'm putting procedures in play in my business that prioritizes that connection and getting to understand who these people are. And that informs me about how I want to shoot them, the energy I want to approach. I'm investing in learning about models, and really, models, they are they are grinding. It ain't easy. It doesn't pay well. And we look at them, we give them the beauty tax. Like, oh, you're a good looking fellow, you're a good looking woman, whatever. I don't want to hear about your problems. But like, nah, take a second to come back down to earth, and hear this person, and understand this person's journey. And even in that, even in that nuance, there's so much value to be had, because there's I stumbled across this approach and I've executed it in with two fashion models since, where I always end off the set, and the set would be a look and a backdrop with a smile. And it's they've both said to me, whoa, this is different. And to me, those smiles are the best part of that photo shoot, because that's them. Yeah, they do the model, the serious face, and they're phenomenal at that. But the smile is the one I want. That's the one I want for my portfolio. Because all the other stuff goes to the creative director, it goes to the designer, it goes to print. But the smile, that goes in my portfolio because I had the privilege of capturing a very real, authentic moment of another person. Yeah, yeah. So I'm learning to let go and trust the process. I am learning to dive headfirst into the uncomfortable. I am learning to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Very strange thing. And I'm learning that the journey will always have these places of imposter syndrome and doubt and fear and anxiety and frustration and like all these things. And then I shared in a recent video why I sit back and reflect every 6 months or so. And I'm looking forward to doing exactly that with this journey of becoming a professional portrait and headshot photographer. Thank you so much for your time. It is and always will be the most valuable resource that we have. And I do not take it lightly that you have shared some of yours here with me today. Below in the description, you can find links to all the gear that I've used to create my videos on this channel. And then you can find links to my sponsor, Retouch For Me, who's a very valuable sponsor. It's a very valuable piece of software to my business. And yeah, I'm out of here. Peace.